This town is a lonely town.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back to another episode of Live in 5, baby. Episode number 72 across your fucking chin over here. I am Jay Swish, live from Nevada. That is Las Vegas, folks. Yes, I am in a robe. Yes, I'm hanging out right now, midday. I can hear the bass behind me. I don't know where it's coming from, Ozzo, because right now in Vegas, the wet deck season, it's actually closed. It's pretty fucking cold here right now, fella.
Yeah. I mean, it's snowing down south. I mean, you got snow in like New Orleans. It's got to be pretty cold there. Like, what is it? Like 50, 40 degrees out there?
Yeah, we were playing tennis this morning, and I think we kind of waited till 10 or 11 just because, about 9 o'clock, fella, it was about, I think, 35, 40 degrees. And it's been cold in the desert, nonetheless, in Scottsdale as well. As you know, it's always a little bit warmer in Scottsdale versus Vegas. There's probably a 5 to 8 degree difference. Right now in Veggie, she's cold. So I don't know where this bass is coming from. Is that just
that's just got to be Vegas. Like, maybe even if there's no music going on, when you're in Vegas, you just still hear the bass going, Jordo, because maybe it's just in your head. Maybe there's actually no music going on, but it's just like you're in Vegas, your head's telling you like there must be bass playing somewhere.
So funny too, because we were walking around last night and I stayed off the piss. We got a big meeting here coming up today on Friday. We're recording, so I wanted to stay off that, just be a pro about it. But walking around last night was hilarious. We were walking around and it was just me and Gucci. We were walking in the casinos. We just had dinner at Caesars, and we're like, "Fuck, it's not that busy tonight. Like, what's going on? Like, Vegas isn't that busy." And it was only like 8 o'clock, and then sure as shit, about 10 o'clock. Oh my God, do the night owls just come out, and you just see just gremlins from all walks of life just litter through the casino. It's crazy. And then you see the hookers come in at about 11. I'm like, okay, now I got to go to bed because I don't need to pay for play tonight.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I was wondering how Vegas was this time of year, because you got to think, if those hotels with the size that they are, Jordo, if they're somewhat empty, like they're eating a lot of costs and money.
Yep. For sure. Yeah, no, I know. And but the thing is, at the same time, it's like, why would you even want to come to Vegas right now? But the thing is, Ozzo, what I was told by the locals, especially the people in the workforce here, it's Chinese New Year. So these Chinese people come over for like 2 weeks and gamble, spend all their money, designer bags. They're in the nice restaurants. They're walking around. They're on the backrad tables. They're hanging out. And Caesars was decked out in all Chinese New Year's shit. I was like, oh my God. And there are a lot of Asians in town. It's my first Asian. There's a lot of them running around though. It's crazy.
No, I feel like, I don't know if this, and I know America, good old American loves gambling too, but those Chinese people, for some reason, I just picture them just hammering the slots. Like they love the slots for some reason.
Yeah, they love slots. They love baccarat. And
baccarat.
They love craps too, but like, is that just because there's so many Asian people just in China and in general? My thing is, what I'm saying is how is there so many rich Asian people? Because they're always flooding the casinos, and they're also always like in the high roller room. Like they're playing big money.
I actually don't know. No one, if anyone's listening to this, don't listen to me, because I actually don't know what I'm talking about. But what I think is that a lot of these Chinese people have old money. I don't think money transfers from, there's not as much of the American dream over in China. Like you can't just come out of the slums and become a billionaire. Maybe you can, but I think it's a little harder over there. It's a lot of old money. Like I think some of those people you see in the high rise or the high roller area, they're kind of just kids of these business moguls over in China. I think that's a lot of what it is.
Right. Like there's a reason why they go to UCLA or USC and they are in the country. Like they made it out and they have a lot of dough. It's not like you can just like start your own t-shirt company over there and make a killing.
No.
That's not how it works over there.
No. I think you got to have status or something. I'm not sure though. Don't quote me on that.
Right. Yeah. I was always just curious though, because you do always see a lot of Asians here. And I mean, you see all walks of life, every race, but I always in particular see the Asian people playing in a lot of money. Like I'm not a huge gambler, Ozzo. I like to play a little roulette, a little blackjack, but if I have to part ways with more than $300, it doesn't really get me off. Like I don't understand that, like going back to the ATM, spending $5,000 that you don't have and going back there and losing it again. It's like, if I have this dough, I want to hang on to it. I'm not a big gambler, man. I'll be honest, but I do like watching. I do like watching people play.
Well, yeah, and the thing about gambling, Jordo, is I get all these addictions. I get you're addicted to alcohol, right? Like, because it's fucking, you're having fun when you're drinking. I get you're addicted to meth. I've never done it, but I've heard, it's pretty addicting. The feeling that you get a feeling, right? Yep. Okay, there's people addicted maybe to sex. You like having sex. You're addicted to it. It's a great feeling. You're getting something out of it. This gambling thing, man, it's a tough addiction for me to understand, because if you just look at the numbers, I mean, you're not going to win. Like, I know there's some guys who win on sports gambling, but if you're just playing blackjack, like, you ain't winning, buddy. Like, you might win one night, but over time, like, you're just giving away money. So I've never understood that.
Yeah, it's like, and at the same time, it's like, I have enough addictions. I'm addicted to my phone. I love boozing. I used to chew all the time. I used to smoke dope all the time. It's like, I got to manage my addictions. When I'm walking into this casino, I don't need another one potentially to add to my slate. My charcuterie board is full of addictions. I got to limit it right now. It's just like, I don't know, man. I've never gotten off to gambling, and I get it. Like, it's a rush. It's an adrenaline rush. You think you're going to win every time you play. That's part of it. I like playing a little bit on the inside of the roulette table, just because you can go in there and throw some money on your favorite buddy's number. Like, I'll go in there. I'm going to throw it on Ozzo 20. I got Rico 26, Chizzy 29, Dale Saunders 33, Nikki 8. Jake Schmaltz 8. Like, and then obviously I'll play 2-4 for Swishy and 2-3 for MJ. But it's like, it's more fun when you're like with the boys and it's a special occasion. I don't like just going there and just like sitting there just waiting to see if I can win, even $200-$300. It's like, even the blackjack table, bro, it's such a grind. It's like ups and downs. It's like, I don't need that stress. Come on.
No, especially if you're like, imagine going there doing it by yourself.
Oh God.
Like, that's like a solo activity you like doing. Like, fuck though.
I know. And it's just, you're grinding out, even just grinding out sports bets. Like, we were sitting last night in the Caesar Sportsbook, which is actually nasty. Have you been in there? You've probably been in there, right?
Yeah.
Where you sit down in those comfy chairs and they have like 40.
It's unreal.
Man, did you catch Joker though? I feel so bad for Joker. He had to retire after the first set.
No, against Zverev?
Yes, against the big German. He was very classy about it, though. He mentioned, this is not a way he wanted to go into the final. Obviously, he wishes Jokey would have been able to play, able to compete. But, it looked like a growing injury or a thigh, bro, or a quad. He had his, whole left leg taped up, and he lost the first set 7-6 in a tiebreak, and then was just like, you know what, I'm out of here, which was so devastating because I wanted to saddle up and nestle up, belly up in that sports book and drink Sprite all night and watch that because it was on the center TV, obviously. But Joker had to retire.
Dude, I saw him beat Alcaraz though. That was legendary.
Yeah, that was a great win. I just don't know how much left Jokey has in the tank, bro. Like, if you're looking at it, I mean, can he get to 27 majors? Can he get to 28? Like, I don't know.
Not against these guys. It doesn't seem like it. But I said the same thing about Tiger Woods too. When he won that Masters, I figured out what year it was, like 2016, 17, 18 or something.
Yeah, it might have been 19 even.
Yeah, well, when he won that majors, I counted Tiger out. Like, I was like, he's done. He's not winning another one, but he did. I'm hoping that's the case with Joker. But like, when you're looking at the field, Jordo, I mean, if he was to win this tournament, the Australian Open, he would have went through Alcaraz, then Zverev, then Sinner.
Sinner, yeah.
You ain't going. I mean, I don't even know if he'd make it through that gauntlet if he was in his prime. Like that's insane.
Yeah. And it's such a young man's game, dude. And then Zverev, I don't know if you've seen his girlfriend. She's a German model, but she looks Russian. She's from East Berlin. She's 35. I think Zverev's like maybe your age, like 28, 29.
Yeah.
Double sleeve tattoo. I mean, she looks like she's straight out of the Dirty Dog Saloon, just an absolute rocket. There's something about a rocket, Ozzo, with a double sleeve tattoo. Now, I wouldn't want to see that every day of my life in terms of being in a relationship with something like that. But my God, when you see that just sitting, especially courtside in such a proper white collar sport like tennis, and you see that, you're like, holy fuck, she's pretty hot. And it's like
your mind starts racing. Like, what's she like? What is she like doing? Like, what's her hobbies? Because she's got to have a little crazy side to her.
Yeah, and especially him too, going up with a little bit of a cougar, 35. He's 27, 28. Like, she might be tying him up. Who knows?
Like
that crazy look in her eye.
Oh yeah, he ain't making the rules in that relationship. I'll tell you that much.
No, he's getting his nipples. preach.
Oh yeah,
His
100%.
nipples preach. Yeah, so it'll be a good final. I mean, Sinner, he played late. I tried to stay up for that game. It was like 12:30 this time. He took the screws to Benny Shelton like I thought he would. So that was a good match too. And we got the ladies tonight, Sabalenka, I believe, and Madison Keys, I want to say her name is. So we'll see on that. That'll be a good match. But Sabalenka, I mean, just she's like a dude in herself, man. Like talk about a chick that would tie you up. Holy fuck her. Oh my God, she's nuts.
Jordo, can you answer this? When you think about tennis, you think about America and every other sport in the world, pretty much. We got the best athletes. We've never had the best tennis player. I mean, maybe once with what's
Johnny Mack.
Yeah, Johnny Mack was up there.
Andy Roddick was like
Andre Agassi American?
Yeah. I would say our last legitimate American that was like unbelievable, like a solid number one, was probably Pete Sampras.
Yeah.
Pistol Pete.
Yeah.
I mean,
why don't we have more? I don't understand it because.
But it's been forever, like you mentioned. Like Andy Roddick even was 20 years ago at this point. Ozzo, the last time he was number one.
And now you got. I mean, who do you have now? Like you got Taylor
Benny
Fritz,
Shelton,
Tiafoe. What's the other guy's name? The other good-looking. Can't remember, but it just baffles me. Like America does seem like we would be the front runners in tennis. It's kind of a rich man's sport. I don't know if it's because we got too many options in sports here, so people are like, I'm just going to play something else, not tennis.
I don't know what it is, Ozzo. I mean, you'd think that one of the guys would be challenging for a number one spot. Like if you look at the guys now, like Shelton, like really good raw skill, young, decent. Fritz has all the tools, doesn't have a tool shed. Also has a gal that was, hanging around hockey players. That's not perfect. I'm just thinking like it's a little bit crazy when you think just like the state of where it's been. I mean, like John Isner, he was always known for that big serve back in the day.
Yeah.
You had a guy like we mentioned, Roddick. It's weird, man. And, even just like some of these like other nasty players like Carlitos, Sinner, Zverev. I mean, there's Medvedev, like there's Russians. I don't know. I mean, it's a hard sport. Look, first and foremost, but it is a little weird that, we haven't had a guy like be the guy in 20
because we got girls. I mean, the girls are good. I mean, you had Serena Williams, Coco Gauff. I mean, Serena was dominant for how many years? But like the girls were good. It's just we've never had that guy. I can't really explain it. I guess maybe it's like soccer,
Yeah, I think the other name you were looking at was I was trying to find it. I was talking there. Tommy Paul.
Yes, Tommy Paul.
Yep.
2 first names.
Yep. Can't trust a guy with 2 first names.
No.
It's a cardinal rule. Cannot never trust a guy with 2 first names. Ozzo, what were you up to last night, though, fella? Were you watching the National League? Did you go over and slide over to the Utah Hockey Club and Thursday sleeper? What was going on?
Yeah, so I'll kind of bring it back. Nikki actually texted me on Tuesday.
Nice. Wow, he picked up his phone.
Yeah, he picked up the phone, texted me. The boys were the Utah Hockey Club was looking to just have dinner somewhere and catch some atmosphere because they got in Tuesday. Didn't play till Thursday, so obviously you're in the National. You're looking to kind of do something, not just sit in the hotel room the whole night. So I was surprised. He was asking me like what good spots to go in Jordo. I felt so bad because it's Minneapolis. You get a day off in the National. You don't get too many. It's the dog days. You want to have a good time with the boys. And it was negative like 15 degrees out on a Tuesday. And I'm like, buddy, you ain't got anywhere to go. There ain't nowhere to go. And they actually ended up. I mentioned a few spots they might find some fun or entertainment, and they all went out. And I was like, "How many deep are you, Nikki?" And like, how many guys? And he's like, "Well, we got like 15 guys." I'm like, "Fuck, that's a damn good showing for a national team." Like you have that many guys, like that's a fucking good group. So they did that. I couldn't go out. I had to wake up early Wednesday, so I had to just sit out on that one. But no, and then we went to the game. I went to the game last night.
Where'd you send them? First off,
I tried. They were down in Minneapolis. I mentioned Smack Shack could be decent. The Loop. I didn't want to send them to Jack's, and then I said, if you really want to find fun, Nikki, I don't know if you're gonna like. I don't know if you're gonna agree with me, but I'd head to the KK in Dinkytown.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Go to Dinkytown because
Yeah,
that's probably your
like
best
that's your best bet.
for
It's your
sure on a
best bet.
Tuesday. For sure.
And so yeah, they had 15 guys, which I was surprised. I was like, "Fuck, you guys got a good crew there. 15 guys. I mean, that sounds like a good tight knit team, Jordan." And I know I always talk about, we always talk about how important it is to have a couple brews with the fellas and be a team.
Yep.
Well, I go to this game last night and the Wild are fucking sleeping. It's dog days. And I texted Nick after, I was like, holy fuck, buddy. I mean, hell of a win. The Utah Hockey Club had it going on. I think they won 4-0. And the Wild looked like no one wanted to be on the ice. But all I'm thinking about, Jordo, is Utah strictly won that game because the boys got together on Tuesday,
Yep.
The boys were together hanging out. I guarantee the Wild, they're at home all bundled up inside their own homes because it's freezing outside. And they got the little bump they needed to win that game. It's a sleeper of a game. It's in the dog days. And I texted Nicky after him, like, fella, yeah, that was just a classic dog days game. No one wanted to be out there. And he's like, yeah, fuck, the dog days are real, man. And I'm like, oh, I know, man. Picture Tomer, Keaton Thompson, and Luke Johnson over in Russia in the dog days right now. I mean, you're looking at some of those bridges over there are looking pretty tasty right now. You're driving by like, fuck, that looks nice.
Oh yeah. They would shout out to Paulie Ledoux up in fucking North Pole of Sweden as well, just grinding it out in the dog days. You're like, you haven't seen the sun in 3 months. Your wife is ready. She's actually started packing already for you guys to come back home stateside. It's like, honey, we might be doing playoffs. Or it's like, no, you guys better not make playoffs. You better fucking tank this thing because we're getting home. We're getting back to Minneapolis where it's going to be as equally as cold and dark, but at least we'll be stateside by March 1. Yeah. And you mentioned the dog days, Azo, and I love that you were setting him up with, a decent spot to go. He was texting me too a little bit. I'm like, fella, I have no idea. Maybe Makanda and Wayzata, but
I said Wayzata. I was like, I don't know if you want to travel that far. I did reach out to a bunch of people that I thought would have better intel than I do.
Yeah.
And they all gave me there ain't nowhere. So I was like, maybe deja vu, Nikki, get a couple hot dogs.
Yeah, go get a dance. But the thing is when you're in those dog days, and especially in the National League, your 2-week stub's great. Look, it's a nice life. You're 5-star hotels, you're on the bird, this and that. But man, you are counting down the days until you have that Cabo trip planned over the break. And this year it's going to be 2 weeks because obviously the Four Nations and most guys, they don't have to go to the Four Nations. So you're looking at your schedule, you're like, just get me out of here. Let's just get out of here healthy. Let's not get any facial lacerations. Let's not separate a shoulder, knee, groin, whatever it is. Just get me healthy to that break so I can go enjoy my Miami Vices or pina coladas and get my toes in the water, ass in the sand. Azo, you're looking at that schedule, and even when you're sitting there on Mini on that Tuesday, you're like, well, if I don't go out, I'm actually going to be more depressed going to practice the next day because I don't have any, I'm not sweating anything out. I don't feel guilty at all.
Yeah.
You actually go out in a situation like that and you get all the boys out and you have some fun stories at the rink. Everyone's a little hung the next day. You kind of have those just blues of giggling and everything.
Yep.
That actually transfers over to the game on Thursday because then you're kind of just in a nice little mood. You're a little bit more relaxed. You weren't pent up, just sitting at the St. Paul hotel where it's stinky and the headboards are not as stiff. And it's just you can hear everything going on in that fucking place because the walls are paper thin. You hear a guy jerking off. It's like, dude, turn your porn down over there, fella. But when you go out and you get into the mix, it actually helps you out, your mentals. More
yeah. Yeah, you obviously you don't need to stay out until 4 a.m. But if you're hanging out with the boys at least until 11 o'clock midnight, I mean, I don't want to sound like that beauty overload guy, but that helps for sure, especially during these times when I know these guys are getting paid a lot, but that doesn't make these dog days really any easier. I mean, they're fucking tough. You do not like hockey right now with game 50 something through 70. I mean, those are the toughest hockey games you ever play.
Oh God. Yeah. You wake up and now I'm in Winnipeg. Oh my God. Where are we? Calgary? Fuck. How are we in Dallas already? It's Friday. It's like, you don't even know what the schedule looks like. You don't even know what day it is. You don't even know where you're at. You've been in so many hotel rooms for the last 4 to 6 months where you walk into your hotel and you walk right out of it. And you couldn't even tell yourself what floor you're on, what hotel number you're on. You actually have to go down to the front desk after dinner and be like, listen, like, I don't even know what floor I'm on. Can you just help me and walk me to my room? Because that's what the dog days feels like, man. It's just like on the bird to the game, off it to the hotel, back home for a couple days, play a few. It's just, ooh. So good on them for grinding it out. Did that game have any life to it, or was it just legit? Just, oh my God. Like, just,
I mean, great game for the Utah Hockey Club. Like, that's
right.
exactly what you want with a Thursday game in the
Yes.
dog days on the road. I mean, you go up, like, they scored like within the first 2 minutes of the game, and then they scored every other 10 minutes to make it 4-0. It wasn't even, I don't even know what the Wild were doing out there. You should ask Nikki. It was hilarious. I was like watching some of the game. I'm like, these guys aren't even playing. They're terrible.
They're not even trying.
No, they weren't even trying. Like, there's no effort. I don't know what the coach says in the locker room after that game. And if you're the Wild, like, the last thing you want to do, you got a couple games before break. The last thing you want to do is have your coach pissed off at you and like have a terrible loss like that. You know, it's just, that's not the place you want to be as if you're the Wild right now coming up on break.
You played for him, right, Hines?
No,
you played for
Don Granato.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
because Heinze's a little bit of a stiff, I think, isn't he?
I don't know Heinze personally, but when I watch his interviews, I can't get a lot. I don't get a lot of personality out of him.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. He just seems like a little stiff. I know he was coaching. I think he coached the 90 team and maybe the 92s and not because he was like on the even years. The odd was Rolston, at least when I was there, and then I think Donnie Granato. So yeah, that makes sense. Dude, how about sweet Lou Lamoriello making waves, making headlines today as we record on a Friday and bringing in Tony Deangelo. Now listen, Ozzo, I tweeted about it about 10 days ago. When Tony D ended up leaving SKA over in St. Petersburg, he was playing in the Continental Hockey League in Russia, and he ultimately decided to leave. He probably thought, you know what, I got some different things going on. Maybe Russia was just hard on him. Maybe he had a couple lines in the water over here where he's like, you know what, I'm just going to go home and regroup and see if I can get a National Hockey League deal. So I threw out that tweet just saying, you know what, a lot of teams, they could use his services. He's a great defenseman, especially on the power play, a puck mover. And if you brought him into the right situation, it could work, especially a veteran team, a team that needs maybe a power play quarterback number 1 or 2, get his 16 to 18 odd minutes, and really use him in a role that he could succeed. I mean, he's had a lot of success in previous years, obviously in New York, Carolina. He was good 1 year in Philly. But, man, did the far left and the woke media come after my chin like I've never seen before. That tweet got like 1.5 million views. So fast forward to grinding through that. I mean, I don't really care. I just turn my mentions off. I just think it's hilarious. I like to fire people up as is. We'll leave it at that. But people are coming at me to the point of like, this guy's exiled out of the league. He should be crucified. It's like, listen, you have no idea who he is as a person. His teammates actually do love him. And you know what? He's a pretty good fucking hockey player. And if you use him in the right situation, he could really benefit your team. And who brings him in other than the Providence gangster? Sweet Lou Lamoriello, the clean-cut kid out of Providence, brings in Tony Deangelo, a quote-unquote, to the other side of the spectrum, a problem child. And you know what? I think it's going to be a great fit. I'm happy for Tony D getting another sniff in the National League. And he knows, obviously, he's probably on his last chance to make it in the NHL and stick and be a regular again. Obviously, the skill has always been there. But I just love Lou Lamoriello stepping up and out of left field, also taking a chance on a guy that was having a really good season in the KHL because, number one, he's been blackballed out of the league basically for, or tried to be blackballed for, 3 or 4 years now. He kept getting deals because he was playing well.
Yeah.
And you know what? He had to go over to Russia this year because, just for whatever reasons. And now he's back. So I'm just fired up for him. Hopefully he can stay on the rails, be good for that team. And I do think, at least everyone I've talked to, loves him as a teammate.
I seriously, I haven't heard anyone dislike him. That's why, Jordo, this hate for him, like I would say he's probably the most hated NHL player in the league
maybe of all time
by these people. And none of it really makes a ton of sense. Like there's a ton of guys. If you take away, Jordo, if you take away his tweets and his political views, not a single person would have a problem with him. There's guys who are bad in the locker room and get in fights with coaches and yell at refs and do whatever he was doing in the locker rooms and don't like coaches. There's a million of those guys in the league, man. And there's a million guys who it's just there's actual bad teammates where guys don't like them in the room. There's actual guys who have done actual bad things in their life that are playing in the league. Like this guy, the worst thing he's done in terms of these people that don't like him is he tweets about Trump and like the MAGA stuff. Like that's the only reason these people don't want him in the league. And they're so pumped that he wasn't in the league. And now they're so pissed he's getting a chance. It's like, you guys don't even know the guy.
No.
None of us really do. And I've talked to guys who have been in the locker room with him. Like, no one dislikes him in the locker room. So it's crazy to me that he has this much hate. It's honestly impressive. I'd take pride in it if I was him.
It's crazy that Trump got Tony Deangelo back into the league.
Yeah.
But
he pardoned him.
He pardoned him into the league. But it's just like, if you're looking at it, and I love the move from whom it came from, in Lou Lamoriello, because he's able to silence all of that outside noise around his team and make it strictly about the team. And you know what? He's probably going to silence Tony a little bit and say, hey, man, just hang out in the weeds for a little bit. Don't be tweeting. Obviously, shave your face, report, look good. This is a Catholic school-like atmosphere. And I do love the Italian on Italian, kind of like the Godfather coming in, getting his boy, giving him a second chance. And you know what? Hey, we're going to give you all the reign to do whatever you want on the ice. Be creative. Go dance out there. Do your thing. You are an artist. You're like Picasso when it comes to painting out there. You're just a magician with the puck. So I love the move in that sense. And I love the move just from the outside because the Islanders, they don't let any media around that team. Guys have strict times of 14 minutes to get interviewed after games. You can't talk to guys 2 days before. Like Lou just blocks all of that out. One of the funniest things too is the Islanders are one of the only teams in the league, I think the only team, Ozzo, where the media guys are not allowed to travel with the team. So they got to book their own commercial birds.
No way.
They can't get on the charter. Because Lou doesn't let them. How good is that? Because he doesn't want them, sniffing around and grabbing little things for an article. He's like, no.
You got to respect that.
And the thing is, as well, is I think when they're at the rink too, and they want to interview guys, it's like a sanctioned referee locker room. It's like you're not coming in after practice. Obviously, probably after games, you can come in the locker room. But I do know for a fact this is a real thing. If you work for the New York Islanders on their media side, you have to book all of your own travel. You cannot be on that private bird.
That'd be a tough gig if you're doing that job. Yeah.
You're like a caddy at that point. You got to book all your travel. You got to get reimbursed. You got to get stipends. Hopefully that comes with a per diem pack.
Yeah, you'd like to think so. That I do just well, yeah. And you mentioned Jordo, that he's an unbelievable hockey player. So he's really good at playing hockey. So it's and yeah, you're right. Lou, he's not gonna. I like this chance by Lou because, I mean, you got to think a guy like Tony. He's not that dumb. He's actually a pretty smart kid. I know he's got a fuse, and sometimes he can't control it. But if you know you're on your last chance, you're probably going to be on your best behavior, right? So I don't think I think it's a great move, especially they're signing him at a league minimum too. So it's not like any skin off their back. They need it. They need a little spark. They need a little something because obviously the start to their season is not going well. So, and Lou is the guy to kind of rein him in because you're not going to fuck around with Lou.
No, and I think that's a team that just needs personality in general. If you look at their team, they have a lot of nice guys. They have Brock Nelson's a really nice guy. Hudson Fasching, your buddy, really nice guy. Mikey Riley, who's making his way back into hopefully playing hockey again, really nice dude. Anders Lee, really nice dude. Scotty Mayfield, really nice dude. Really nice dude. Ryan Pollock, really nice dude. These guys are full of nice dudes. They need a little bit of South Philly twang to come in that fucking locker room and spark it up a little bit. Obviously, with their coach, that helps with Patty Waugh. But I do think it's going to be a really good opportunity for Tony to come in, and hopefully him and Patty Waugh, those are two big personalities, can connect right away, have some success, and go from there. Because I do think if they channel in their energy and just how much self-belief they have in both of themselves, as humans, it's only going to help the New York Islanders. Now, hopefully that's the case, because I could see them butting heads too if
For
shit
sure.
hits the fan.
For sure. Oh, yeah.
But I love the move by Lou. I really do. And I think if there's one guy in hockey, the Godfather is that man to come in and say, you know what, hey, I'm going to silence all the noise. I'm going to take this into my own hands. I've been around the league. I've been a winner, and I am a gangster. And I will put this guy, this young kid, on our payroll because he can help us. He can be a very, very serviceable defenseman with his power play skills, and I will take care of the rest on the outside. So I really like the move. I really hope he does well. I'm always rooting for Tony. He's one of my favorite defensemen, so silky out there, going back to his World Junior days when he was playing with Nick. So fired up for that. Also, lastly on the Islanders, I just want to touch on Mikey Riley. Mikey Riley, I don't know if you saw it the other night. They did a little bit of a fan type affair where they were talking to some fans. I think it was just like a fan appreciation night over at the UBS Arena. And he gave them, in terms of the fans, an update of how he's doing. Obviously, he had that concussion, which led to a couple blood tests and like a monogram of his heart, and ultimately had to get rushed into surgery a few weeks later to repair something there. He's all good. He's going to make 100% recovery. He is skating. He is around the arena. But it was a really touching message. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. If you saw it, it sounded like Mike was in good hands and in good spirit.
Yeah.
But that was scary, and he is a friend of the show. And Lou actually won't let him come on here, but he is one of my good buddies. So I just wanted to give him a couple clicks. I don't know if you caught that.
Yeah. No, I didn't catch that, Jordo, but I do love Mikey. He's just an all-time dude, and yeah, to get that news, I can imagine it's just terrifying. You know, someone tells you there's something wrong with your heart, you start wondering about your career and everything. That's unbelievable. He's going to make 100% recovery. I'm honestly not surprised, just because of the fact of how positive Mikey is. He's always happy. He's kind of a happy-go-lucky guy and always just having a good time and positive. And typically guys like that, you know, can get over these things because they're not sitting down in the dumps, you know, worrying about it. He's probably just getting after it, going to work and doing what he needs to do to get back to normal. Yeah, hopefully he can get back on that ice in front of the fans and playing a game, if not this year, but hopefully next year.
Yeah, that's who he was targeting at the end of this year, is kind of what he said. So that would be awesome to see him back on the sheet, buzzing around, and who knows, maybe playing with Tony Deangelo. So that's what I had on the New York Islanders front. Azo, we are going to slide over to the National Football League, where we have two games this Sunday. The Washington Commanders, the Philadelphia Eagles. That is in Philly. That is Philly -6. The over-under on that 47 and a hook. Money line plus 230 Washington. And then we have the Buffalo Bills and Patty Mahomes boy. That game is at Arrowhead Stadium. Obviously, Kansas City -2 on the money line. That's Buffalo plus 110. Also, if you're looking at these games and you're looking at the first one over here in the NFC Championship, that'll be at 12 p.m. high noon this time on Fox. What are you looking in this game? What do you like, man? I might just sprinkle a little action on the Commanders plus 230.
Yeah, that Commanders money line is appetizing because
I'm saying, like,
they could win. Yeah, Daniels is a dog. Here's one thing I look at too, Jordo. You look at the 4 teams left, and I've talked about this in the past, and I've always looked at this in the NFL. You have 4 teams left. 3 of the teams are paying their running back no more than $1.5 million a year.
Which is insane.
The other team is paying their running back $12 million a year or something like that. It's up there. Saquon Barkley on the Philadelphia Eagles. Yep. You don't win the Super Bowl when you're paying a running back. It's just a known thing. It hasn't happened in a long, long time. You have to – I mean, the lock of the week now – obviously, the Philadelphia Eagles are unbelievable, and you never know. The Commanders' left guard or right guard did get injured, so they're playing a second string there. They're going to have some troubles dealing with that. But the lock of the century, I think, is to take the spread for sure. I mean, I don't think the Commanders are going to lose by 6 if they do lose.
Yep. But
I honestly think the money line is a good option because there is a chance. There's something about this Jaden Daniels guy. He's got some mojo. He's playing with confidence. I mean, he's better than Jalen Hurts, you know. And when you think about football, it's like it's kind of quarterback versus quarterback, right? Like a lot of the time, it's like who's got the better quarterback got a good chance of winning.
I agree.
So, yeah, I would love – I actually probably going to put some money on the Commanders' money line.
Money line,
just
yep.
because I do hate the Eagles, too. I just do not like their fans. I respect them because they're pricks, and I think that's Minnesota's problem, my Vikings' problem. Us Minnesota fans are too goddamn nice. If opposing team comes in, we're shaking their hands. Let's fucking spit on them. Let's fucking push them down and bully them. I want a Minnesota Viking guy calling a fucking Detroit Lions fan a cunt, in the state. I want a video like that coming out. Oh, the Vikings fans they're dicks, I want that. I think that helps.
2 Philadelphia fans I absolutely love. Start at the top. Erin Dolan from ESPN. She's an absolute Maurice Richard. We're talking about probably the hottest chick in the world, at least I think. She's just like this 5'2", 3 little baddie. She works on ESPN. Anyways, her, and then number 2, Gilly. Have you seen Gilly from the $1 million worth of the game podcast? He's an absolute Philly hood legend, and every game he pulls up in this I don't even know. It's not a go-kart. It's not it's like a dune buggy, and he pulls up to the bank in it. He drives it in. And the song that he's been bumping all playoffs and all season is one of my favorites, and Blow the Whistle by Too Short. And he's doing this dance. He's just all over the place doing this bird dance. He does it before the game. He does it after the game. Actually, he's been in the tunnel, Ozzo, a few times with all of his gear on. And you know what his jersey says? It says, Meet Gil Vic. So not Michael Vick, Mike Gill. Mike Gill Vic. So he's got Gilly in there with the Vic, number 7. He's been leading them out of the tunnel. Gilly, high as hell on about a pound of sticky. Leading the boys out.
He has been sober. He's been high, I think, for 30 years.
He's never not high.
Yeah.
That guy is leading the Philadelphia Eagles out of the tunnel for their games. It's absurd. So I love it. Mike Gill Vic, a.k.a. Mike Gill Vic. And just is everything he does, what he posts, it's just, I don't know if the people really know or what $1 million worth of the game is. It's a hell of a podcast. It's Wallow, who was in jail for 20 years, and his cousin Gilly, who is a South Philly legend, actually North Philly legend. And so those 2 fans there are just that's why I kind of like Philly. And just the scumbags that they all are. And also, they do have great colors. I wish they would wear that old school green. That's that Kelly green, similar to UND. Yeah, I love those colors.
They need those. Those are some of the best unis in the NFL. I do that's one thing the Commanders have against them, Jodo. If they had that Redskins logo, I'd say they have the upper hand. But this Commanders name, it's a little candy ass.
What are you thinking about that other game though? In Chiefs and Bills. I mean, you can't bet against the Chiefs, dude.
Can't.
How can you?
I respect the Chiefs, and some people want to hate on greatness, Jordo, and when the Bama Tide were coming up with Nick Saban, everyone wanted them to lose. Tom Brady and Belichick, everyone wanted them to lose. I don't necessarily want the Chiefs to win because I do like Josh Allen. I want him to get a Super Bowl, but you have to just absolutely respect what the Chiefs are able to do year in and year out. And I learned back when I was a kid that when you got a franchise like this, like the Patriots, do you remember how many people would bet against them in the playoffs all those years? It's every year after year, I would bet on the other team. What are you, fucking stupid?
Yes.
You can't bet on the other team when the Chiefs are on the field. Until they lose, you can't bet against them.
No.
So, you have to go Chiefs.
It's going to be a tight game. You know it is. And Patty Mahomes will probably end up leading the boys down 2-minute drill style, and they'll kick a field goal to win it, or they'll score a touchdown. Kelsey obviously will get going. What he does in playoffs, he's been incredible. Man, it's crazy. Kelsey, just the connection they have with each other, where he doesn't necessarily even need to run a route. It's just kind of get open and run a post play, or then improv off of that, or go find a soft area. And it's Mahomes can kind of just shake back there and ultimately find him. But the thing about Kelsey right now is his legs noticeably don't work.
He can't run.
He can't move. Dude. He looks fatter out there too. Is he stuffing his barrel with some more gluten now that he's with T Swift, or has he changed up his diet? Or is he just kind of mailed in and he's got that middle America dad bod he's rocking,
Yeah.
because his barrel right now, man, like it actually looks like he has like a little bit, like probably like 4 or 5 more rolls down there. It's
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of, I'm like, is he not working out? What's going on here? Is he eating Cinnabon? Like, I know
Yeah.
Kansas City ain't exactly a place where you can find the healthiest food. I was there in October, and it was just basically just brisket and beef jerky.
Yeah, it's I compare Kelsey. His NHL comparison is Ovi. Like he's got so much football IQ. Like Ovi has hockey IQ, just knows where to be. He's always in the right spot. Like I'm sure Kelsey at this point in his career, Jordo, like he doesn't have to run a route very fast. Like he can look at the defense and just know where a hole's going to be, and he kind of just jogs to that spot, and it works. I mean, he's open.
Yeah.
He just had the last game, he had 100 some yards and a touchdown, like just putting up insane numbers still. And when you watch the guy run, you're like, how is this guy in the fucking league?
It's crazy. Like, I mean, and what he can do, like his regular season wasn't great. And then just his ability just to turn it on in the playoffs. I mean, he had 117 for a titter. And then, his game 12-25 on Christmas, he had 84 for 1 touchdown. It's like, and he's going to get in the end zone. He's going to get 6, especially against the Bills.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's going to want to fuck these guys up. And his skunk's going to be there. They're going to be dialed in. Patty Mahomes will find him on a little, 5-yard in, or who knows, he might even take something in the middle of the field and turn it into a 25-yard, 30-yard score.
Yeah.
And he's not moving, Ozzo, but at the same time, like, he still knows where to run to get those yards after a catch.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
And he's a fridge. I mean, you got a couple cornerbacks and safeties at 180, maybe 190 trying to tackle this guy. It's like they're just bouncing off him. I don't want to tackle this big rig coming down full steam. I don't know how heavy is Kelsey. He's got to be like 240, 235.
Yeah, 250. I would say probably 250. He's probably 260 right now. I mean,
he looks big out there. It's like, good luck tackling that guy.
It's funny too, because his head looks a little bigger too. That you always notice that. It's just like, like in his helmet. Like I was sitting there, I forget who I was watching the game with, and we were like, Kelsey, like his head looks bigger in that helmet right now. It's like, what? He's just a little beefcake right now. So, yeah, man, that game, listen, -2. The Chiefs are going to win. They'll probably win by 3 to 7 points, somewhere in there. I just don't think Shaky Allen can go in there and get it done and have the stones to beat Patty Mahomes at Arrowhead. I think he's close.
Yeah. You need that game.
You have to play a perfect game.
Yeah, perfect. And you need mistakes out of the Chiefs, which they don't really make mistakes. They capitalize every time. And if you want to win this game as the Bills, I think going forward, you need this game to be in Buffalo. You cannot keep going to Arrowhead to play these AFC championship games on the road. It's like, that ain't going to do it.
And the thing is when Steve Spagnuolo, and I don't know anything about defense in football, but I know one thing. Steve Spagnuolo, if there's any sort of third down or any sort of play where they need yards, and especially if it's a third or fourth down situation, the opposing team, he brings the fucking heat, man. It's a blitz every time. It's we will blitz all night. You're going to remember the night you play the Titans. It's like straight out of Remember the Titans. He brings the fucking kitchen sink, and he forces that quarterback to make a play. You're going to have to beat us. We're not beating ourselves and going to sit back and just let you throw all over us. No, we're bringing the sink, and good luck.
Yeah, and that's defense in the NFL is just so complex to me, Jordo, that you got to game plan for all these different types of quarterbacks. Like who'd they just play? They just played C.J. Stroud. Okay, C.J. Stroud's he's a pocket passer. He doesn't run like Josh Allen. Now you got a guy like Josh Allen who's like Travis Kelce but has wheels. He's young. He's got a cannon arm, and he'll run guys over. Like, how do you game plan for that? Do you have to change up your whole defense? It's just defense in the NFL is so fascinating to me because it would take so much goddamn work from these coaches to like scheme up these plans.
Yeah, and who's that safety on Kansas City that's nasty?
I should know his name. God damn it.
It's not Brian Cook.
Trent McDuffie. It's McDuffie.
It's McDuffie. Okay.
Quarterback, McDuffie.
Yeah. So Trent
knew I
McDuffie,
yeah.
this guy coming through and just blowing guys up. I mean, he's a Pro Bowl guy, right? Like I don't know anything about.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. McDuffie, he's been good for a while now. 5'11", 190, Jordo. He's out there just bullying guys that are running the ball at 220.
Yeah, he's and even just through the middle, like I don't watch a ton of defense because I'd rather just watch good quarterbacks. I kind of, whatever. But yeah, it's just like that's, and especially when you win, like, and you have a formula where you can just legitimately just know you can bring the heat like that. As a coach, like it just gives you so much confidence. Like it's fucking worked, or most coaches or some coaches might sit back and be like, no, trust these guys to make a play.
Mm-hmm.
Where Spagnola's just like, no, we're fucking bringing the heat and you better beat us.
Yeah, I like that.
That's
it's always I wish we were in this situation, Jordo. How nice would it be if the Pack or the Vikings were in these games? How fun that would be. Just don't have it.
Don't have it, and I just don't know who's going to beat my homeboy other than if the Cincinnati Bengals can get a little bit better and help Joey Burrow, because that might be one dude to do it. But
he's the only dude to do it so far, other than Tom Brady.
Yep, I know. It's just wild. So Patty Mahomes will probably be in New Orleans in a few weeks. Azo, the last thing I had for you, and again, folks, we're going to drop this just Azo and Swish episode tomorrow. You'll hear our chins talking on Saturday, and then we'll have a guest and back to the normal programming next Tuesday. So we just want to provide something for you for the weekend. But the last thing I had for you, Azo, and is back to the National League, is the Utah Yetis. And the Utah Yetis was supposed to be, well, quote unquote, the name after the hockey club. And we've talked a ton about the hockey club. We talked about them earlier in this episode. We talked about them dating back to what their name should be. Should they keep the hockey club? Should they go to the Yeti? Well, it seems like the Yeti is getting shut down a little bit. Just in terms of what it exactly is a Yeti. Can you trademark it? So Utah, in terms of the hockey club, might be back to the drawing board. So I wanted to ask your chin, what would you do now? Would you stay with the hockey club? Would you go to the Mammoth? Would you try to abort the mission and maybe just change it all up and do something wild? But it's like you have this color scheme. Mm-hmm. You have this hockey club name. Maybe you could have just theoretically a mascot kind of in the background like North Dakota hockey. Like It's not really the Fighting Hawks. We all know as the Sioux. Mm-hmm. So the hockey club could just be the hockey club, but we could kind of have maybe a mascot running around and buzzing around the arena as this like make-believe character just for the kids. Like
maybe you do have the Yeti as the you have like a little like snow, like what's the abominable snowman? That's your mascot, because you usually need a mascot,
right?
Is that the reason, Jordan? Because of the cooler and because of the cooler company Yeti, probably because they can't trademark it or something, or.
It was something like that, and just like people are like, what is a Yeti? And I think there's just like some confusion in terms of like naming and rights for that exact logo, and just name and usage is kind of the thing I'm hearing, Azo.
I'm in the minority on this, I think, just from looking at everyone's opinion, Jordo, but I don't mind the Utah Hockey Club.
No, I like
it's kind of I liked, like, when I was like, I went to the game last night with a couple of friends, and they're like, yeah, did you talk to Nicky when he got to town, or Nick? And I was like, yeah, the Utah Hockey. I was referring to their team as the Utah Hockey Club. And I was like, it's kind of cool calling them the Hockey Club.
Yeah, it's the club. It's European soccer vibes.
I like it.
It's just the club. I like it too. And I think you would, again, have to have just some sort of nickname for the kids. For all the youth hockey players, you can slap it on the junior Yeti or the junior Mammoth or something like that. It's like, because at that point, how do you really develop youth hockey in that area if it's like the junior hockey club? Like, I don't know about that. Like, there's got to be some sort of name and rights and just a way to create buzz, sell different pieces of merchandise, and ultimately have a character running around the arena for the fans. But I do like the hockey club. I do like how it sounds. I think you could just add some sort of mascot to that, and that's kind of like, have you ever been to a Suns game, Phoenix Suns game?
I haven't been there, no.
So clearly it's the Suns.
Yeah.
But they have this gorilla that runs around.
Yeah, I've seen that guy.
in a Suns jersey.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like their mascot, but not really their team mascot. So how about something like that, where you had like this unofficial character just kind of buzzing around? I don't know if it's Sasquatch. I don't know if it's a Yeti. I don't know if it's a mammoth. Just something like mountain related.
Yeah.
That you could tie in. I don't know.
I don't see any reason why you couldn't do that. Yeah, just put a Sasquatch out there. There's plenty of Sasquatch. That's a perfect mascot. The Sasquatch.
Right.
I mean, everyone knows what the Sasquatch is.
Yeah. I just think, fuck, I kind of like the club the more it goes.
I do too. I like it too because there's no other team that has it. You know, like if there's another, if you had another New York hockey club, it wouldn't hit the same. But all these other teams have cheesy nicknames, Jordan. Like we're talking about the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yeah.
And, the Minnesota Wild. It's like, I mean, you're the Minnesota Wild. First off, what is the Wild? Is it a bear?
Right.
Is it what is the Wild? Let's just call you the hockey club.
The Winnipeg Jets. Who's flying into Winnipeg?
Yeah, like these names are all dumb anyway. So you might as well just keep it a hockey club because it actually sounds cool.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. So we'll see what happens on that front. Azo, what do you got going this weekend, fella?
Yeah, this weekend, I'm not sure. Last week,
January.
Last week we got off the podcast and I said I wasn't going to try to go out, and fucking got texted by a couple of guys and ended up, having a couple cocktails on Friday, of course. So I don't know. I don't really have any plans. I know this is a big pond hockey weekend for a lot of people in Minnesota. They got the Hockey Day Minnesota. They got that. Oh, one thing, they've got that the Gopher alumni team playing against team, college hockey.
How are you not in that?
Yeah, I was asked by someone to play in it, and I was like, yeah, I'd actually play in that. And then I got scratched in retirement. I got scratched because you got all these big boys coming in. They're like, the older guys, like, I think Jason Blake's playing in it. I know Taylor Short. There's a bunch of other guys from like St. Cloud, Duluth, Mankato. I got the boot because I'm kind of too young, I think. I also probably wouldn't contribute much on the ice, but
block shots, stay at home.
I'll whack a couple wrists out there. I mean, on the Gopher players, why not?
For sure. Good locker room guy.
So that was pretty funny to me. I was like, fuck, I got scratched in retirement.
Yeah. They said, you're going to be on the taxi squad this year.
Yeah, and they're like, hey, you can still come to the game and watch, but
you're
not
all right, buddy.
Yeah,
okay,
you can still come. Like you can come in the locker room after too, but don't come in before the game because we're going to try to get focused here.
Who's coaching that team, or is it just like self-coached?
I don't know. And then I talked to
they should have brought Hack in for the coach.
They should have. That would have been. I know they tried originally a year ago. The guy reached out to me trying to get a UND alumni team going.
Yeah.
And I actually gave some efforts towards it, and I couldn't ultimately get a full alumni list. And I was like, you know what, I'm out on this because if I do put together a full team of North Dakota guys, alumni, and we're playing the Gophers, I don't think that's a good recipe for Minnesota Hockey Day when there's a bunch of kids in the stands before the actual high school game.
No, there's a few calls I'm making, and it starts with the provinces of Manitoba and Saskatchewan. I'm calling Mike Perpich, and I want playing on my third line, and I know he's going to get in at least one fight, and the guy on the other side, on the Minnesota side, is probably not going to agree to fight him. He's just going to jump him. And then I'm going to call Ryland Kipe and see what he's doing, and I want him to play on the wing with Perp. Kyle Radke is going to be in the lineup. I'm going to have Joe Finley out there. I'm going to call Matt Fratton. I'm going to have Evan Trupp. I'm going to have Danny Cristo. I'm gonna have to call Matt Green. I'm gonna call Kami.
Yeah,
we're just gonna put together just a fucking bruiser team. Even Steph Patton, fella, we need you up there.
We need you
playing. We need Pat. I don't know.
He hates his opponent.
He does hate his opponent, and we're gonna get guys not only like those guys, but then we're gonna get guys that actually play harder in beer league than they do in competitive when they were playing college. So that'll be a guy like Connor Gorder. Connor Gorder's going to come in. He's going to take out a rack of teeth. Now, he's always a pesky little fucking bulldog. He's a bull in a china shop. But I know for a fact he would be going so hard out there. So we would get Gordy out there. Like, our team would just be full of fucking mutants.
Oh, man.
Just kill guys, and that's it.
Yeah, yeah.
We should line that game up. That would not be good for Minnesota. And I'm not saying I'm tough. I'm just going to say the guys on my team are going to be tough.
Yeah, and I'm sure Minnesota's got some tough guys too. I know they're the Gophers, but there are some tough guys that come through there. But I don't think they're anything like these tough guys you just mentioned.
No, I mean, perfect alone.
Guys are as tough as it gets.
And then we get Mario Lamrou too. Like our team is just going to yuck it up. Like we're just going to it's fuck, fight, or hold the light. Dane Jackson can run the bench. Be perfect.
Probably gonna if you get in a scrum in front of the net, you probably catch a little buzz from us breathing fire out there. But yeah, I mean that would have been such a funny game, dude. There would have for sure been a fight.
100%.
In a men's league game, Gopher alumni versus North Dakota alumni. Who thought that was a good idea? I heard it right away and I was like, this is a terrible idea. I'm gonna try to get it going. This is awesome.
This is a horrible idea. Let's play this. Let's actually make this happen though. Hockey Day in Minnesota needs this. They need Minnesota versus North Dakota. Do you think like if it was marketed well, there could be a decent amount of fans at that game?
100%. If you got all those guys you mentioned and some of these Gopher guys who are still living around the area, I mean, these guys, Jordo, I didn't really play. You played against the Gophers, 1 year in the same league? Like when I was coming up, we didn't play against each other, so there's not as much hate there. But like these older guys we're talking about, they hated each other. Like they probably still do.
Dude, I just remember like how much I hated watching them play, being a Sioux fan, and then getting into that rivalry. And we got beat and tied at Mariucci, and it was like the worst feeling ever. But I remember just that Thursday going in there, like it was nuts, dude. Like I was like, I remember Hack was like totally different. He's like that week before, like I'm getting chills talking about like Sunday came around, then Monday. And we got to the rink on Monday, and we went into our old kind of meeting room. And Hack was like, "You know what it is, man? It's fucking Gopher week." And I'm like, "Holy shit!" And it was just like old highlights the whole week.
Yeah,
the scouting report went up. The whole message changed. It was just like, wow, this is fucking intense. Like I could tell how much the coaching staff hated these guys. Like I could tell how much Hack hated Lucia. I really could.
Oh yeah.
He fucking hated that guy.
For no real reason other than just
Saber too. That reporter, that writer, he hated him too.
Yeah, there was a lot of. I mean, yeah, I still remember my only series was my senior year. We went to Mariucci, and we actually tied and lost. And it was like, I mean, that was like, I would have rather lost in the Frozen Four, I think.
100%.
Like I'd rather lose in the semifinals of the Frozen Four, not the championship, but the semifinals, than get swept by the Gophers. I think that's People might call me crazy, but that's the way I felt.
Man, even my freshman year when we played in the regional in Grand Rapids, Michigan, there was nobody there, and we were the 1 seed. We beat Niagara the first game, and the game before was Yale versus Minnesota. And Minnesota lost that game in OT. And we were all watching that game like in the Zamboni gate, getting ready for our game. Because, after that game, it's the second session. You're still going to have like an hour and a half before your game starts.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing our coaching staff like just smiling ear to ear. They're like, fucking right. Fuck these guys. They're packing up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, as much as we wanted to play them the next night, they were even happier that they were going home early. Like, it's just like, it's such a different era, and it sucks that the WCHA got split up because that league, man, nothing will ever be like the WCHA.
No, nothing will be like it. You had so many, like we still have the Denver, the Duluth, the St. Cloud, but we don't have the Wisconsin and Minnesota anymore. And growing up watching those series, like even Wisconsin, like North Dakota playing Wisconsin, it was insane. Like
crazy. Everyone
just hated each other. Like it was just like fights every weekend because you play each other so many times over a career, especially if you're a senior or junior. You've played all these guys like how many times, and you're like, fuck, I hate these guys.
It's crazy. And you had teams even like Mankato who was decent. They had David Backus and Tim Jackman. It's just crazy that whatever. It just is what it is. But that fucking conference and that Final Five, the Red Baron WCHA Final Five, they'll never be anything like that. So, yeah. So let's whoever you were talking to about firing up that game, let's maybe recircle on that for 2026.
with the World Juniors being in Minnesota, then into Hockey Day in Minnesota. This could be a real doozy, fella.
It could be.
Yeah, no, that's good stuff. Azo, the adult film convention is here in Vegas this weekend.
No.
Johnny Sins, the likes of Brandy Love, and all the other adult award winners.
Have you seen any of them?
Are in town. No, they're over at the Virgin Hotel, which is an oxymoron in itself.
It's pretty funny.
But that is going on. So imagine the creatures over there. I might just strap a dildo on top of my head and just walk in there and just see what's going on.
Do you think there's like super fans, like porn
Oh, yeah.
super fans over there, like getting autographs and shit? You know, like
Yes.
like they go to the what's that, like superhero like Comic-Con or whatever. It's like kind of like that, right?
100%. Like, can you sign this molded wrench? It's the same size as yours. I tried to make it exact. Can you sign this, Johnny? Like, for sure. There's got to be so many weirdos walking around, and thank God it's at the Virgin Hotel. So I'm nowhere near that. But yeah, I might just, even for content's sake, right? Just maybe pop
Yeah.
over.
I wonder how many films are being filmed in that hotel room, in that hotel tonight. It's got to be like, you know, like, is that like, because if you're a porn star, you probably just walk up to another guy like, hey, you want to film? Like, let's
Right.
go.
Yeah, like I gotta. This is cheaper. Like I don't have to fly out to San Diego. Let's just get it done here. And I do have the nice Valentine's Day suite early, so maybe pop in. And I got rose petals all over the bed, and let's see what we can make of this.
Yeah.
All right, Ozzo. Well, that was Live in 5. It's always brought to you by Mini Movers and Butter Golf and Gladiator Therapeutics. Folks, we wanted to bring you something for the weekend. Again, we'll be back on Tuesday, and we'll get back to the regular programming as we always do. That was the captain, Gage, Ozzo, Ausmus, and your boy, Jay Swish, reporting live from the Chin of Las Vegas. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week. We love you out there. Woo!
This town is a quiet town.